theories, speculations, discussions. There's been a lot of talk over the last couple chapters of Fairy Tales, or really the last two, heavily over something specific. So if you've been keeping up with 100 Years Quest, you know that, let's just go call him what he is, the stepbrother for Natsu, the true son of Ignia. Ignia forced Natsu to take in his power, to eat his flame, to fight Mercphobia, and with that, he pretty much got a new form. If you want to see my explanation for what I'm about to go in, I'll put the link in the description below if you want to check that out. But it's pretty much the explanation that it isn't just Dragon Force. It's also his Etherious form, and again, just really quick comparing it as it is. You want to go see my whole video discussing that. You know, you can see the similarities here between the weird shadowy energy around the eyes, the black layer kind of coating over his arms, the fact that they become claws at times, and just the color of the flames in general. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into that because I did it in another video that I'll put in the description if you want to go check out. But where I think that there's a lot to support that theory is just kind of thinking back just a little bit. If we remember the whole stuff about the whole explanation from Margear is that the curses pretty much spawned from E and D, you know, whether or not that holds true, because we know that there was a little bit that Margear was saying that isn't necessarily true. But we do know that curses, as stated, are they're pretty much fueled and really centered around more negative emotions, more like darker and aggressive, or like just really put anything on the negative spectrum of emotions, as I said. And that's kind of like where curses follow up. And we remember that during the explanation for the demon seed, of why it was growing inside Natsu, is because when he started to doubt his humanity, it really kind of fueled it and increased its power. But also, what happened prior to Natsu getting the power up from Ignia after eating the flames? He was kind of questioning not really his own morality, but he was questioning, or not really his own humanity, rather, but his morality, because we know from the start of the Albreath War, he was willing to kill if it meant protecting those that would otherwise, you know, be in jeopardy that he cares about, because he knows there are some people that you're going to have to kill in order to protect, you know, your loved ones, even if you don't like to kill, because Natsu, as he's talked about at the beginning of that arc, he doesn't like killing, he likes fighting for fun, and even if he's in a serious fight, he doesn't want to kill unless necessary. Now, as we've seen, from not only that, we also saw stuff like the obvious factors of probably his first big growth moment, you know, recognize your fear from the lesson he got from Gildarts on Sirius Island, the whole bit about sacrifice, and, you know, at the same time standing up, moving forward, not being pulled back by your own, you know, the weight of your, let's just say, problems. When Ignil talked to him shortly after he died, but also during the conversation with Acnologia during, you know, that final battle, how he saw dragons no different from humans. There are good ones and bad ones. They, you know, they're all specific. There's no all good and all bad. And we saw that as well with demons, because not all the demons in Fairy Tail are evil. We saw that with the natural demons versus the Etherious. Obviously, the Etherious are different because they're programmed a certain way. But we saw during that whole bit, when he learned about that Mercphobia was trying to better himself, trying to become a better person, make up for the crimes and sins that he'd committed. He was all around just in full acceptance. What he did, he saw wrong, and he was just trying to make up for it. And then not only that, Natsu knows that he wouldn't want to hurt his people, hurt the people in Elmina. So there's this kind of swirl of emotions going through Natsu at this point, when it was pretty much Mercphobia was out of control, rampaging and a danger to everybody, that he would have to kill him regardless of knowing, you know, what this guy has become. You know, he's becoming a better person. He just wants to really do better for everybody. And that hurt him, because it's not just, oh, he's a nice guy. It's this guy who's trying to better himself, and at the same time, just in all around, just a generally, like, redeemable person. And that's one of the whole things with the dragons, is he saw them no different from people. And when Natsu was very, like, early in the story, you know, he wasn't too keen on forgiving people. Like we saw, he was ready to attack Jalal on sight for making Urza cry and all this stuff in the Tower of Heaven. But after that, he was kind of that whole debacle and the whole flame of rebuke and just kind of like seeing all those different effects that Jalal was kind of like willing to go through in order to prove that he was trying to do better. A lot of that, I think, carrying over into the whole stuff with mercphobia, for Natsu at least, emotional wise. Just trying to, in so many ways, just forgive and to see where people are trying to move forward, because that's also a whole thing where he saw, to just stand up, don't let pain and your own problems weigh you down, as said. And at the same time, he knew that mercphobia would rather die than cause so much pain to his people. We know that at the same time, Natsu knew from not only at the start, like what he said at the start of the war, how he'll kill if it means that it's the only option to protect those he cares about. But at the same time, he knows that that's the same situation here with mercphobia. So he was more struggling with his own morality versus his humanity. And what we saw going forward is similar to his whole kind of like bit when he learned about, he was E&D, and that kind of like sprung forward more of like his whole doubt in humanity. You saw this kind of whole doubt in his morality in a lot of ways. And I think that might have been a trigger, as said, what helped grow the whole bit inside of him for his Etherious powers to potentially spring forth. And there's a lot to it, comparable. And again, I'm going to put the link in the description if you want to go check out my whole going over of how it's possible as Etherious. Pretty much all his Etherious powers still exist, and just kind of going over all that. I didn't need the details right here. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description. But tell me what you think. Do you think that it's possible these are related? It kind of makes a lot of sense that these negative emotions, these negative aspects of Natsu's mind, obviously questioning his own humanity, was able to really kind of feed into the demon seed, obviously, because we know that they're powered and ran off of negativity or like negative emotions and whatnot. Then questioning your own morality would really do something similar in theory. So again, tell me in the comments what you think about this. Tell me what you think about this theory, and do you think this holds pretty strong for Fairy Tail, and not only like it as a world, but Natsu moving forward? Like, what else is it going to do? Like, could it be that every time that he ends up taking on the dragon gods and seeing that maybe they're not all actually like bad, they're all just trying to live, and something in their lives is causing all these terrible things to happen and kind of spawn up, like with mercphobia, that will help nourish the demon seed or within Natsu and further progress into finally emerging. And we saw from the flames, like they're too much for him as he is now. So if that happens, he's gonna have to get stronger and evolve to really keep up with it. But again, tell me in the comment section below what you think about this. If you think this is a good theory, this is a good topic to go over. Just again, I'd really appreciate if you would thumbs up the video, press the like button, and subscribe button, and check out my other videos, especially the one that I have on that whole explanation of how exactly the possibility of his Etherious power still existing and everything. Again, that I'll put that in the description. And actually, I'll put the one in there as well about me just kind of going over Natsu in general. If you kind of want to like, think about how he's probably taking all this and how this will affect him at large. Other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.